Babe, correct me if I'm wrong. Did we ever do a video talking about our relationship?
Never.
I can almost swear we did.
Babe, we've never talked about our love story.
We have a love story.
Come here.
Yeah.
Hey guys, so we wanted to go ahead and welcome you guys back to my channel. I know it's been a long time, but first of all, I wanted to go ahead and show you guys my new camera. Look at this cool.
I thought she was gonna say I wanted to show you guys my new boyfriend. I'm like, what? Guy pops up in the back.
Oh.
Hey.
I'm super excited to be back vlogging, and
Yeah, just click the link below.
go ahead, like and subscribe to this channel. And I feel like it's time for us to finally talk about our story and how we got together and how this amazing person is my man's. Amazing. Okay.
Yes. How did you first meet Daniel? Interview fashion.
Okay, so honestly, if you guys want me to know how I met Daniel, I met him in my living room. I came out, and literally the first time the first time I ever saw him, like, my brother literally said these words, "Are you ready to meet your husband?" And then I was like, what?
Hold up.
And then I was like, I didn't know him yet, so I was kind of like, who is this guy, and like, does he like me? What is he talking about? But yeah, I came out and Daniel was there, and that was the first time we met.
I met her brother. He was my homie, my partner, chilling, still is. We would hang out all the time. And little did I know he had a sister. And that's her.
Little did you know.
Oh, snap. And this sister of his, she ended up, you know, after a while integrating herself into the, you know, the trio. Like, if I'm acting like I was there before her with her brother. So she said it became a little trio thing. We'd hang out,
Wait,
we'd watch
but first
movies.
I want to say, so I was still in FIU, so I was super involved. So I would always be in college like 24/7. So I feel like he was at my house more than I was at my own house.
Yeah.
Hanging out with my brother all the time.
I thought I lived there before her. Because she was never home. She'd get home at midnight with like her face painted,
TBT.
FIU, sorority, what, I don't know what it was going on. With a unicorn
So in that
thing.
season, my brother and him were like getting really close.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like they were like lifelong best friends. It was like that specific season of their life.
Yeah,
You guys
we
reading
were
the Bible
partners. We
together?
were reading the Word of God together, hanging out, playing music, playing basketball, going to the streets and talking to people, meeting people, just being bros, literal bros.
Yeah.
And
I would get home sometimes and they were like having Bible studies. Like, I'm not even
yeah,
I'm not
we
even
were
kidding.
trying to grow. We were trying to leave
Spiritually, yeah.
dirt from our past behind and be true followers of God.
Of Jesus.
Jesus. And we were like, yo, let's do this. And so she comes in, I meet her through, whoa, okay, that's his sister. So, hey, what's up? Cool. We build a friendship at first, just very friendly, you know, funny, joking around all the time.
I was mean to him though.
She was mean to me at times, yes, but I was annoying to her at times as well. I remember one time we were watching a movie, and I decided it'd be a good idea as she was falling asleep during the movie to get my phone flashlight and just shine it right in her face like that. And
I got so
she
mad.
got so mad
Like,
that
so
I wook
mad.
her up during that movie that she screamed at me in front of a group of friends, and I was like, wow, I like it even more. Yes. I'm just kidding.
He was
I
like,
just,
he liked the challenge. He
but
was
my
like, yo,
thought
this
process
girl.
was literally, wow, if I have the power to alter her emotions from this plain state, because I analyze, she doesn't know all the things. I was like, I got to get her this mad. That means I have this much control over her.
Oh my God.
That's how I think. So I was like, woo, and she thought it was an L, but I was like, nah, that means I have an effect on her life.
Okay,
If I was
we're gonna fast forward. So
Okay.
So long story short, I had no interest in Daniel, and he had
She wanted to say that so bad.
But we would talk about like other people that we had interest
Yeah,
in.
we did not know that we would like each other one day.
Fully, yeah.
We just knew, oh, that's the funny girl, oh, that's the funny guy that hangs out, but it was just cool, like friends, cool.
Exactly.
So like she said, I would show her pictures. This is the girl I'm talking to. Yeah, she goes to FIU.
And I would also
shout
show
out to
him.
you if you're listening. I'm just I thought that would be funny. Yo, drop a DM below if you're listening.
Okay, bye.
Please leave that in the video.
anyways.
That was hilarious. That was so good. And she would show me her potentials as well.
Potentials.
And I was
What?
like, okay. And then like some of them I was like, not bad. I can see it. Other ones I was like,
he's such a liar. He low-key would be flirting with me like, oh man, but I think you deserve better.
Yeah,
like high key, he would do that.
As
okay?
time progressed, yes, I would low-key, you know, like sneak my flirtiness in there, because part of it was just because of how, like, you know, like I'm a playful person, but at the same time, it's possible that obviously and slightly before she even realized, I was already realizing that I felt a certain way about her. I was like, wait, you know, this could work too. Like, I slept on this. So
okay, so
can you want to talk to them about Ignite a little bit?
Yeah, so wait, right before you left to this thing, it was my birthday, and somebody told you. What did they tell you? They're like, hey, you know.
So right before we left, I left because I was leaving the city to Gainesville, Florida, more up north, and somebody told me in her, was it your birthday?
Yeah, it was my birthday.
Or graduation. So at her birthday dinner, I got invited because I had become, you know, her brother's best friend and also her friend. Not her best friend, but also her friend. So she's like, you know what, it'd be good. I'm inviting my brother with all my college friends. I should allow my brother to bring his best friend, which is Daniel. I'm already cool with him. So she invites me to this nice fancy dinner in Pembroke Gardens. Everything's cool. And then, if you know who you are, I'm sorry, I won't say your name though. But then somebody, no one has to know, it's between me and you. And somebody comes up to me and goes, bro, man, out of everybody in this party, who would you like, you know, consider, you know, dating and getting into a serious relationship with one day? And I'm like, I don't know. I mean, you know, I was like, there's a lot of prospects in life, you know, like I'm just open-minded, whatever. At the moment, I didn't notice anything in particular. And then he goes, bro, if it was me, it'd be Diana. And I'm like, whoa.
He's like, really?
I'm like, really? Because it didn't register. She was still my best friend's sister in my mind. But I knew like she was cool. I knew she was amazing, cute, everything. But I was like, really? And he's like, look at that. She's like, And he was like, yeah, man. And then I was like, I was unexpected. He was like,
I never really considered it. Like,
I never really, that day. Yeah, but that day, it could have very well registered in a different light to me. Like, wait.
What up?
I don't know. Maybe before any people are noticing something here, maybe I should snatch it up before anybody does. So something could have very well clicked there. So before, and then I'm going to pass the mic to you.
Wait, the next day, that's when you actually said, you told me that after my birthday, that's when you kind of like...
I started seeing it different.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, this is not only my best friend's sister, this is a possible serious candidate. So we fast forward a little bit. That was April, right?
Yes.
We're going to May and June, and I'm on this. I remember we had this conversation on the couch, and I remember we were showing each other our potentials as we would like to do. And I was like, this one, and I was like, look, and this is me.
Okay, you make it seem like we had all these guys or girls. We had like one specific person that we kind of were talking to, and you were talking to.
Yeah, one specific person we were more focused on.
Yeah, okay.
But it was more, you feel me? Yeah. I'm just playing.
Babe,
I'm playing. Babe, it's
okay.
funny. It's funny.
Okay, go.
Leave this in the video.
Okay.
So I remember that day was the day that I realized, as I was talking to her about this other girl, that I was like, I like looking in your eyes. And I used the technique on her that day, and
he was staring at me.
So I said, oh, you have something in your eyes.
Like, he literally...
Listen what I said. I said, you have something in your eyes. And I know she remembers. It was in your front living room in your old house.
Yes, the white couch.
Yeah, I said, you have something in your eyes. And the day before, my uncle had told me to use this technique when I talked to girls. But I thought it was going to be with the other girl I had a thing with in FIU. But when I saw this girl's eyes up close, I said, nah. So I said, you got something in your eyes. And she was like, really? Oh my God, what is it? And this was while I was showing her a video of me and the other girl hanging out, and while she was like talking to me about the guy she was into. And then I was like, you have something in your eyes. And she was like, really? And then when we got close, I was like, oh wow, I had never really noticed that your eyes were that color. Yeah! That's what I told her. I said I had never really noticed that your eyes were that color. What is that, like hazel? And she was like, oh, you know, girls, the technique works, guys.
I was like,
the technique works.
I was so like, whoa,
yeah.
Okay, gotta go. That's when I realized, okay, he might think something of me.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh my God, I felt like him look into my soul.
Yeah, and that was the idea, you know, you gently look in the soul. It's all in the looks, by the way, how you look at someone. No, shout out to Hochi, who I taught this technique recently.
Wait, but I do want to say that, like, he would do these things, like, even in the house when I would be there, he would just kind of stare at me, and I'll be like, what?
Yeah.
I was so mean with him at one point, especially when I was like, does he like me? If he does, I'm not like I'm not trying to date right now, so like I would purposely be mean until, because he wasn't my type in that season. He was really not my type. Like technically I wasn't his type either, and so I would be like, there's no way I'm gonna date Daniel, like I don't care. And then this is what happened. So he went away to this thing called Ignite, which was like a whole month away, and he wanted to go to like a Christian camp to get closer to God.
It's Ignite School of Ministry, a Christian internship, an incubator for people to grow closer to God and find their calling in life. Keep going.
So he went to that, and first of all, that was like, I thought that was really cool of him, because I was like, wow, like he's
hashtag really hot of him.
yeah, because I mean, he's trying to get closer to God, and like what else do I want? A man after God's own heart, you know?
Side note, for you fellas out there, and then you keep flowing.
Okay.
Girls love a man with passions, so be passionate mainly about God, and then about anything in life. Keep going.
Ooh,
look at her
preaching out here. Okay,
keep going.
So yeah, he comes back, and I promise you, he went from this like type of guy, like super hyper loud type of guy, to then just like calm and collective and very mysterious. And then I was like, after that
I came back like this, like she said, very mysterious. I came back like this. Like,
no, I'm
I came back. Wait, look. I came back like this. I walk a lonely road. The only.
Actually came back super calm.
You remember that IHOP date?
Yeah.
Me, you, and your brother,
and, like,
all three hanging out.
He was just listening to everybody talk, and like he just wasn't really saying much. He was just very like, and I was like, hey, like, talk to me, tell me about your trip. Like, now it was me, because normally he would like talk to me, and then now I was like, so tell me how was it? He's like, hey, what do you want to know?
A lot of it
like,
had to do also
like,
with the way, yes, what God did in me over there, but the way I saw her now was different. I used to see her as just a bro, because she was always with her brother and I.
Yeah.
And then I realized, yeah, this is a young
I was
lady.
A cool cat.
She is a cool cat. But I was like, you know what? Yeah, this is different. And God has worked on me, and so
long story short, this is where I feel like we're extending the story, but like this is a part where like after he got back, I remember it was like there was gonna be a hurricane or something like that, and he shot his shot. So he texted me. I remember getting a message from him. He's like, hey, I was thinking if you want to go to movies tonight. And I was like,
during the hurricane, I was at her house because I was always there helping her dad put the shutters. And I remember I was like, I'm gonna put the shutters on her room too, so she knows I'm marking my territory.
So
like, I'll protect you from the hurricane. So yeah, I texted
wait,
you.
listen. So he texted me like, and then I was like, oh, my brother's working till late. Like, I don't think we can go, because we would always all hang out. And he's like, no.
Us three.
And then us three, and he goes, no, just with you. And I was
like, just with you. Oh.
So I remember in that time, like in that moment, I remember texting my best friend, and I was like, dude, what the heck? And I screenshot it, and I was like, dude, what do I say? Like, I'm not ready for that. Like, I don't know if I like him. Like, I was freaking out, because I was like, I wasn't sure what was going on in my life. And then,
there was other drama going on, and she had a thing for someone else, you know? I had already stopped with my thing for for the other girl that I had. That because I had noticed in that internship, not for me for sure, closed page. She, in this point, was still, there was other prospects, and then I come in the picture all 100 out of the blue. So yeah, continue.
Yeah. Well, in that season, there was like something else, but at the same time, I had told God that like the next person that was gonna come into my life was gonna have to fight for me, like actually fight for me, because I was so tired of putting up with things like with other guys. And so it was that moment where Daniel, well, I'm gonna go ahead and fast forward. So long story short, I was like, hey, like, I think if anything we can grab some ice cream, because I was like, movies is a little too much.
Yeah, I just like movies.
And I was like,
honestly,
if we're gonna hang out for the first time, might as well like get to know each other and talk, whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, long story short, he picks me up. This is a part that I laugh every single time, because I'm like, okay, yeah, it's Daniel, we're just chilling, there's nothing intense about it. I'm like in leggings, a hoodie, and sneakers. And Daniel,
I thought she was cute. I didn't notice.
Well, you always thought I was cute. Okay, so but Daniel was literally, he had like a button down shirt, like it was a short sleeve, but still like it was buttoned down, nice shoes, and he smelled so good.
Okay, let me clarify this. Okay. In any moment of me hanging out, I like to dress at least casual, nice, decent. But the reason it was such a super shocker to her was because this was the first time she had seen me, not in my warehouse clothes,
Oh, yeah.
smelling like a workman. Every time I would hang out at her brother's house, it was right after work. The warehouse, he'd be like, bro, just come right over. And
Yeah.
we'd hang out. So she was used to seeing me in stinker form.
Yeah, and I also didn't know he had style. Like, I actually had no idea, so that was one
I
thing.
didn't either. I
That's-
logged onto the JCPenney catalog before. I'm just
so
kidding.
that was something that I used to, like, I've always been super big into, is like obviously like
Yeah.
style and fashion. My guy to be fresh, you know. So whatever, that day, like, I was like, hold up, he's pretty fresh and he smells good and he looks nice. So that day I looked down on my outfit and I was like, oop, I got the wrong impression.
Something my cousin Evita always told me. Take this advice. She said, if you you can shower and all, but if you don't have cologne, if you smell like nothing, you smell bad. Just have that in your mind. You should have like smelling like nothing, not only for boys, for girls especially. If you don't have cologne on, don't rely on your natural smell and say, oh, I smell good. No. If you don't have cologne on, you smell bad. That's Evie's motto. So I learned that and I took that to our date.
Yeah, okay, so long story short, we had planned to go to Cream, which is like this ice cream place, but since the whole hurricane thing was happening, long story short, we got there and it was like, oh, we're sorry because of the hurricane. So guess what? Our first date, technically,
me encanta.
it was McDonald's. So we literally had ice cream in McDonald's and we were like, all right, I mean, it's just a hangout. Like, I remember just being like, it's just a hangout, it's not a date, it's not a big
She
deal.
got a McFlurry, I believe.
Yeah, I did. I got a McFlurry
And I got
then
like
some
another
caramel sundae.
Yeah.
I got a caramel sundae.
Dang, baby girl.
I got a good memory.
Oh,
Okay.
snap.
Whatever, after that, like, I remember, like, I was still in my head, like, I didn't know if I wanted something. I was just, like, very confused. You know, I was in that moment, like, I wanted to seek just God. Like, I feel like I had just graduated, and obviously I had been so distracted in college that, like, in my heart, I was like, you know what, God, I'm all in. I'm wholeheartedly into, like, my walk with you. And obviously I had just started to be Bible study leader. Just so many doors were opening in my ministry, so I was kind of like, I don't know how a guy matches into this right now. Like, I was like, God, I just want you and only you. So it was hard when obviously in that moment, I remember, guys, this is what's crazy. The day that I told God, I promise you, the day that I told God, I'm done looking for my husband, like, whenever you're ready to bring him to me, like, you bring him. Guys, that night was the night that Daniel held my hand. So I was like,
woo, boy.
And then that's when I found out that he actually liked me. So I was so confused because I'm like, wait, is this the enemy or is this God?
She was like, I just prayed.
I was like, I just prayed this earlier. But it also felt like, because I released it to God and I said, God, in your timing, I feel like God was like, okay, now you're ready and I'm going to bring him, you know? And so it just so happened that night.
In one of those hangouts, you know, with me, her, and her brother, and a cousin. Shout out Joel.
He shot his shot.
Who was
Yo,
in
I'm
town.
telling you, Daniel always shot
He was here, and then in the other couch, it was like this, like an L. So we were on this side of the L. The TV's here. We're here on this L, and
We're
they're over
them
here.
so much. I'm laughing
Yes,
so much.
and I was right here, and I remember putting my knee up like this. Look at my cool ripped
He
knee.
put his knee.
I put my knee up on the reclinable couch just so they wouldn't see what's going on, and I was like, yo, let me show you the guys.
No,
wait,
wait.
this is exclusive. Wait, what are you gonna say, baby? Go.
Wait, I had a bracelet. You had a
Oof,
bracelet.
I know. She had
Tell
many,
them, yeah.
She had a few bracelets. She had some rings.
If you know me, I've always had like little bracelets. Right now, I don't have any. But...
So since we're on the L on this side, I'm here trying to cover from them while they look at the TV.
We're watching a movie.
Yeah, and then we're all watching a movie. Me and her are really close because we're
I
ready.
don't know why we're so close because we were.
She doesn't know how this is all happening, but it's slowly
I was just
happening.
chill, like...
We're just chilling, and I'm slowly easing my way in without her even noticing. And then I go, guys, technique. This is trademark. All you gotta
so
do if you ever
crazy to
use
hear
this, if you ever do this, all you gotta do is text me, hey, thanks, I used it, and be humble.
Dude, okay, go.
So I go.
No, you don't grab my hand yet. You grab my bracelet, and you're like,
let me-
oh, that's
let me
a cute
flow. So
bracelet.
I'm like, oh, this is a nice bracelet. What does it say? I can clearly read it. What does it say? Oh, probably something like faith, hope, love. I'm like, okay. And then I'm like, where's your promise ring? Here. So I go, oh, and this ring? I said, what does it say? Oh, that's the one that says faith, hope, love. You see?
No, this one says true love waits.
Yeah, true love waits. That's a nice ring. I was like, and how about this one?
And
Before you know it, I have felt every piece of jewelry on her hand while simultaneously covering them from seeing. And at that point,
this is too much. I'm nervous about people hearing this story.
So guys, you have to build up. You don't just grab a hand. I'm Hulk. No. Every finger on this hand was touched.
Wait, can I just say that when this was happening, in my head, I like I knew that I had the decision to just like, okay, no, I don't want this. But like, I kind of let it happen. So in that moment, it was kind of like, it showed me that I did kind of like him, because I was like, wait, I'm gonna let him hold my hand. This is a huge deal.
She
like, holding my hands was a huge.
She liked
like,
my atrevidoness.
Just him, just like even grabbing my bracelet was a lot.
She
like,
would have
like,
just snapped off if it wasn't it.
I mean, I've always been like very conservative in that area, so it was just like, oh my god, the fact that I was letting him,
I had
even,
to play
like,
it off very smoothly.
touch my ring or like my bracelet. I was like, oh
until before you know,
I was freaking out, and then he literally went like this.
No way, and I remember, listen, and so I held her hand,
and I was like this.
No, look,
I was kidding. When you're mad at
babe,
me,
I know what happened. Look, so I held her hand, and we kept watching the movie for 5 seconds, and then she took it off, and she went like this, smiling super big, and she hit me. Hit it, do it. So she basically let go, and then she hit me, and then she was like, I looked, and I was like, she's still smiling. So I went again slowly.
Oh my god, I hate him. Like,
so
I feel
went
so
slowly.
Cringe.
So come here, cringe. What are you saying? And I went in again, and she holds my hand, and then I do like the little thumb rub, and then she takes it up and hits me again. Like, she hits me again, like que atrevido. And then before you know it, we're full on hand holding, interlocking the whole movie. Woo!
He's so dumb. Okay, that was a lot for you guys. I'm so sorry. Like, just even
that
holding
wasn't
hands.
that deep.
Okay,
we're holding hands.
I know, but still, it just like, you guys are my audience. Okay, anyways.
They should know. They want
Okay,
that.
wait. I do have to say one other thing that kind of gave Daniel a green light of like kind of pursuing me. Okay, so we had been invited to like this dinner thing for like a friend, and then for some reason, honestly, I feel like I just always been a really like, I've been friendly person, so I'm able to have guy friends. I'm able to like be cool with people.
Not anymore. Now that I'm around, continue.
Yes, you're. So, yeah, like we were out hanging out with some friends, and then right after, I remember we were walking to a car, and I don't know why. I was like, "What type of boyfriend are you?" I literally asked him that. Like, I don't know.
This night.
What?
And that was for sure. That was after the handhold, right?
No, this was before the whole. That's when you like before.
Oh, because we're telling out of order now.
Yeah, I know we're out of order, but I just wanted to like. This was kind of like your green light.
Yeah, whatever led me to get to that point where we were getting a little closer and hand holding. Finally, I held her hand. Was this? This night had a big night to do in my mind and hers.
Okay, so yeah, so my sister was here from California, and in the car my sister was talking to Daniel, like, Daniel, like, how come you don't have a girlfriend? Like, what's going on? Like, I would think you would have a girlfriend or whatever. And then I was just in the back listening, because I was like, I'm not gonna get in there, like say anything in this conversation. So we went to our friends, and then after I was kind of like, hey, I want to know what type of boyfriend Daniel would be. Like, are you like really sweet? Are you romantic? And Daniel was kind of like, he just went with it. Like, Daniel always just,
I just went with it.
So then, whatever, long story short, Daniel had mentioned how that day was like his 1 year.
Yes, sorry. So her sister brings it up while I'm driving them home. I'm here, her brother's here, and the 2 sisters in the back. And big sis Diana, shout out, she probably doesn't even remember, but she was like, so Daniel, why don't you have a girlfriend? And I knew, because I know how families subtly throw things in just in case. And her aunt had done it another day.
His
her
aunt had also like put us in the spotlight.
Your aunt.
Yeah, my aunt.
Yeah, her aunt had been like, so... Nah, yeah, and then...
Yeah, but there I really was like, not me.
Yeah.
Girl.
But her aunt was like, like she was throwing... So I felt the hints, and I was like, okay. And then I was like, actually, today is the...
Your 1 year since you've been...
I was like, this is 1 year since I broke up with my ex-girlfriend. And Diana's like, wow, that's interesting. So before we got in that car ride was when Diana asked me the question, which was already like making me think. She's like, oh, so how would you be as a boyfriend? And I was laughing. I was like, oh, I'm cool boyfriend. Then we get in the car. Diana asked me where my girlfriend is. I tell her it's been my 1 year since the breakup. Been good though, I've been chilling. And then you take over, girl.
So he goes, you take over, because this is like...
Because she took over.
So I get home. And then I was just like, like it kind of stayed in my head, right? So I'm just gonna say,
savage.
I can go ahead and also admit that I had my game or whatever without just getting with Jesus. I mean, in a way I had my game. I'm just gonna go ahead and say that, okay? So, you know what I did? I grabbed my phone and I was like, should I do this? Should I not? And I already knew I was playing with fire. That was what was wrong with me in that moment. I literally texted him and I said, a year ago, you made the best decision of your life.
Like not being with your ex. And I was like, yo, she's crazy.
And then he literally was like, oh yeah. And then I never wrote back, because I was like, oh, okay, I'm just playing with fire. Let me get out of this. Like, I'm out.
And she says, we're enjoying the game, the flirting.
Yeah, honestly.
This is all before even holding hands.
Yeah.
But like, I saw that as a sign, like, okay, I could rock with this one.
Yeah,
She
so
crazy.
I was not crazy. So yeah, long story short, we basically, I don't even know how to say like how we ended up getting together like officially.
There was a long process.
Yeah, there was a long process just because again I was in that place of God, like I want to be wholeheartedly with you. I don't know if Daniel is part of my season. So long story short, he was almost a pursuit for almost 7 months after that. So Daniel, telling me how he feels and me telling him how I feel. Can I just testify that he honestly, he fought for me so hard. Like he showed me God's relentless love to a point that I was like, wow, I've never had somebody love me the way that he loves me. Like honestly, because no matter how much I pushed him out, no matter how many times I told him like I can't be with him, I wanted to just like focus in on God. I fasted, I prayed, and it was crazy. So this is actually, I don't know if you know this, but the last time that I fasted and I was like, God, if Daniel is not the person for me, like literally strip him out. Like I don't want nothing to do with him. Like even though he's at my house and he's with my brother and all this stuff, like if I have to let him go, like I'll let him go, Guys, that month, like his dog died. So many things happened in his personal life, like things that it was just God, like he needs you. Like I almost felt I needed to be there for him. And it was just like God literally brought us closer than ever. Like so many things happened to you, like betrayal, just so many things, like in church, like family situation, so many things. And I was like, oh my God, like I just felt like I needed to be there for him. And there's a lot of backstory.
This is the PS to the letter. There was a season in this roller coaster, by the way, in case you're wondering what I was fighting, where we literally went to North Carolina, a group of friends. It was amazing, and we were literally riding roller coasters. And in that park, I remember she had a shirt that said emotionally unavailable. Let me explain to you why. Because she knew I was already spitting the game, but I was decided I gotta enjoy my trip. Even though I really like her, I'm gonna enjoy the trip, but I'm gonna keep flirting with her because I like her, and I'm hoping this becomes something. She had plans of leaving to an internship, elevation internship.
That's why. So when he did tell me that he liked me, in my mind I was like,
I need to be focused in this season. I had to fight that for a few months to let her know, look, this is God, this season for me and you to get to know each other. And I had to fight through the manure of clowns who were trying to also win her heart over during those months. In case you're wondering, what was he fighting? I was fighting those clowns, making sure everybody understood, demons. Yo, I'm the one. Calm down, everyone else. Wait your turn in line because the line's over. I'm here. I had to fight through that, fight through her own indecision. And that theory in her mind of maybe this isn't the season for me.
Yeah.
But little did she know, because of her willingness to let go of dating, it was the season for her. And ultimately, it happened.
Yeah, so after like 7 months or whatever, I remember when he was gonna ask me, like obviously, okay, so he had asked me 2 times before that already.
I had asked her out in a very inopportune moment, to say the least.
Twice.
I'm gonna say this, guys, because I think it'll be funny.
Okay.
I'm not gonna get into detail as to where it was or anything. I was getting so fed up with waiting at the time and literally tired of feeling like, yo, like, what's up? Like, what's up? Like, that I did the worst scenario thing I've ever done. I asked her out next to a dumpster. Right next to a dumpster.
No, wait, let me.
And she said, hell no.
Okay, no. So we had gone to a conference.
I didn't want to get in all that detail about
I'm going to say really quick. So we went to a conference, and in the conference, like he kept being like, we need to talk, we need to talk, we need to talk. And I'm here like, yo, I'm in the spirit right now. I'm worshiping. Like how are you going to interrupt this? But then he was just like, I felt maybe he felt it so strongly in his heart that like we were meant to be together, that he was just like, we need to like talk. Like he just felt like he needed to ask me out in this conference. So long story short, I'm literally like, when Daniel finally takes me out to go outside, because he's like, we need to talk, we need to talk. I was literally almost shaking. Like I was shaking because I had just been in the presence of God. I had been worshiping. I had just gotten prophetic word. So when I come outside and Daniel's like, can you be my girlfriend? Or like I want you to be my girlfriend.
Next to like a church dumpster.
And I'm like, I was so confused, guys. I was like, are you kidding me right now? Literally got so mad. Like
she was like, not you.
I was like, are you kidding me?
I don't expect that from you.
Like
you're so
right
mature.
now, I'm in the spirit. Like I can't even think about how I feel.
For those of you wondering, what does in the spirit mean? Quick quote, in the spirit means she was so focused on worshiping God at the moment, and God was everything in that moment after that preaching, that she did not have time to be hearing about this in the moment. God is bigger. God was doing something, and I, like an idiot, didn't read the moment because I was so excited.
So yeah, long story short, time passed after that. Low-key, he told me he loved me.
I told her I loved her after that no. And then the great Houdini act. comes.
Oh yeah, so then he was
The
like,
ultimatum that you're...
okay, so he basically said like all or nothing. Like either you're in my life or you're not in my life at all. And in that season, since I still didn't know fully, I was just like, okay, then I guess I have to let you go. So I literally let him go. Obviously it hurt him. But then weeks went by, and then I started thinking about it, and I was like, wait.
Another one, guys. Okay, so I asked her out. She didn't want to go out with me, so I had a decision to make. My decision was simple: continue to bless her with my presence even though she rejected me, or completely vanish to let her know what she's missing out on. Don't be scared to do this,
so
guys.
He literally
she did not think that I would. I was seeing her every day at that point. Literally every day. We were talking. What you call the talking phase. We were dating.
Can I just say, this is why we have never really told the story, because it's really complicated.
Yes.
There's so much to the story that we're almost basically not even saying. But like, it's just, I mean, it's like, it was an adventure, to be honest.
It was an adventure. And that talking phase was awesome, but at the same time, it was hurtful because I was already ready for the next stage after talking, which is dating. And she was like on the line. So I tell her, look, I asked you out, you said no, okay. Are you sure? She goes, I'm sure, like right now, no. And I disappear. This disappearing act got her off guard, to say the least. I was hurting while disappearing, but I knew I had to.
Yeah.
It was a few weeks, 3 weeks, 2 weeks. I had to leave, even though I loved her and missed her, because this was with a purpose.
Yeah.
This was for her to wake up until one day she sent me a crazy, she sent me a love poem.
Yeah, that's when I realized, I was like, you know what? Wow, maybe I hadn't seen him the way that God has been showing him. Like, I feel like since he was so upfront and so in my face in that season, I couldn't really see like his value fully yet. And I remember in that season, like, I'm not even kidding, guys, like I kind of was like, God, like, is this really the person for you? How I said the whole fasting and praying and things like that. And I remember, so obviously I had been confused for a season of like the wrong person, basically. And then I remember God showing me like my relationship was gonna even be like my relationship was an act of obedience, because even though I couldn't fully see what God was doing, for me to trust him. So God literally showed me a seed, and he also showed me a bush. So it was basically saying like, you pick, you know, like you don't know what the seed is gonna become. Like you don't know what, you know, what your husband's gonna become, what your boyfriend's gonna be in the end. So like, are you gonna judge by what you see, or because in that season I had this illusion of what I wanted, and I want to say this to women, because so many times we have like this image of what we want, and God has so much more. Like he has something so much better for us, and we're so stuck in our ways and so stuck in our mindset of what we want. And honestly, like when I was like, you know what, God, I'm gonna be obedient, like if this is what you have for me, like I'm gonna trust it, I'm just gonna stick through it, you know. And when I stuck through it, every single day, there's not a day that I don't thank God, because Daniel is everything that I wanted and needed in the long run. And mind you, he also didn't have long hair yet, and that's something that I used to always tell God that I loved about a guy. And that season, he was actually growing out his hair. And I
started growing my hair out when I went to Ignite, the internship, for a month away from everyone with no cell phone, in Gainesville. And then right after that, I went for another couple weeks to California for a fine arts festival to compete in spoken word. So I was on my own journey with God. I was like, you know what, boom, boom, boom. And it just so turns out that is what she loved too.
And that was something that I kind of always liked. And obviously I prayed for things like, you know, a man that was respected above all things. I asked for somebody with an amazing heart. I asked for like somebody that had an amazing family, because I'm such a family girl. Like, you know, that's something that, you know, you guys know, my brother, my family is everything to me. And honestly, like the fact that he was such a family man, and not only that, like he loved God so much above all things, and his family is literally amazing, like Christian women and men of God in his family. It was just like so many things that in that moment I couldn't fully see. And even our callings, like in that moment I couldn't see. I didn't even know what he was called for, and he didn't know what I was fully called to do either. But I feel like our purpose just started aligning. Like once we decided, you know what, God, we're gonna trust you, that this wasn't even just gonna be just a normal relationship, this was gonna be God's purpose over our lives. We've come to realize like, wow, like God has done so much, and obviously like he's unfolded things in such a way that I'm just like, every day, I promise you, like one time I looked at him, I was like, when did you become everything that I ever wanted, you know? Because not only was it that everything I wanted, but everything I needed. There's things in my life that I'm kind of weak in, and he's so strong in, but there's areas of his life that he's weak in and I'm strong in. And it just shows you like how compatible we are.
This was like, you know, right when during that season when I was trying to ask her out, and it was like over ice cream, a walk in the park, some super good Latin food. And then that's what made those months, I was like, those next few months after, I was like, man, like I want to date this girl. I was all in already, and she was too, but she had these other things going on in her life. We fast forward, and then I do ask her out, Disney on Ice. After all this happens, everything settles down, and she realizes, yes, after my disappearing act, she goes, you know what? Yes, God, this is him. So she starts giving me signals like, okay, you know what? You know, you can do what you got to do. So I'm like, all right, Disney on Ice. Let me make it cute.
Wait, but before that, you asked my dad.
I spoke to her parents. Oh, this is another funny part. This is so for the guys and the girls. I mean, your situation might be different, but I was like, you know what? I wanna speak to her dad to ask her out of respect. So guys, you know, this is something, if there's a dad around.
And that's something that I always said.
Yeah,
I was like, I want the guy that, you know, wants to be with me, like to first ask my dad. Even though if it's just dating, like I want that respect from my dad.
Yeah. I wanted him to know what was up, why the dynamic changes a bit in the house whenever I go visit.
Like it wasn't gonna be just him hanging out with my brother anymore.
Yeah, and I did it over pizza. But the funny thing is, I was like, she had never had that happen. No guy in her life has ever had that valor or that courage to say, I'm gonna speak to your parents for something as simple. So when I told her, she freaked out. She's like, oh my God, no, that's so awkward. I've never done that with my dad. Oh my God. She was like, you talk to him. And then,
like I wanted him to do it, but I didn't want to be there. Like I was like, oh my God.
She was like, you do it. And then this is another crazy thing I did, which I'm crazy and she knows it. And I was like, okay, here's the deal.
For me.
I'm crazy for her. And I was like, here's the thing. I want this to look super official. I want him to know that it's not just an idea out of my mind. I want you to be sitting there in full support, even if it's just to be boyfriend, girlfriend, because we know the ultimate goal of this is marriage. And I said, okay, here's the deal. I'm ready to ask you out. But I said, but if you don't sit there with me, I'm not going to ask you out then. And we were quiet that whole day. We were working. As you think he is? Long story short, she gave in. She said, okay, I'll sit with you. I asked the parents. They said yes.
He brought pizza.
I brought a box of pizza. We all ate outside by the lake. And then pizza's my best friend. And then after,
my parents obviously approved.
They approved, super loving. Then I asked her out at Disney on Ice. I asked her to be my princess.
Yeah, like he waited till the last second to literally say, like, can you
be my princess? Something corny like that, but I knew the corn was time for it. And
I mean, I feel like in that moment there was nothing else he can say, because it's like he had already declared his love to me for months.
Yeah.
So he was just like, girl, are you trying to date me or not?
Yeah. I was like, it's now or never, or I'm gonna jump in that ring and start ice skating with the actors and get out of here, because this is a joke. Yeah. And then it went well, and after that it felt so good.
Yeah, like
such a cool feeling to go to your house knowing, yeah, that's my girlfriend.
I feel like God has blessed our relationship so much since then, like where we just decided, okay, you know what, we're gonna give this relationship to God, and then, you know, whatever He wants to do with it, He can go ahead.
There's been so much growth.
So much growth.
In us, like
as people.
Yeah, like
who
our
I
focus.
Was, who you were, who we are together. I don't know. There's so much to say, but that's basically our story.
That was our story, yes.
Of how we got together. Like, no, there's so much to the story, and you're probably like, holy crap, they went through like a roller coaster. Yes, we literally did.